Welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra, everyone. In today's Live Fire Monday, sponsored by the Mantis X10 Firearms Performance System. Thank you to them for being a sponsor of the channel. We're going to work on the fundamentals again. I feel like I've got a few friends out here at the range, and they are working on the fundamentals. We are basically all new concealed carriers or not experienced at the very least. So we're going to use a training tool today, and we're going to work on the three critical items to get shots on target. The new Mantis X10 Firearms Performance System has all the goodness of the original, plus holster draw analysis and recoil analysis. It's a fantastic upgrade and I recommend it highly. So those three items, they're very simple, right? What do you got to do to make this gun shoot where you want it to go? Three things. You got to grip the gun, you got to sight the gun, and you got to trigger the gun. That's it. So people get wrapped around the axle about all these things, but the reality is it's a very simple process. Grip the gun, sight the gun, trigger the gun. And you know what honest truth is? If I'm shooting only one shot, if I'm doing them one at a time, I really don't hardly need to grip the gun, because as long as the sights are on target and they stay on target when the trigger sear goes, bullet's gonna go where I want. Now the gun may go flinging off into the wild blue yonder. We don't want that, but I'm saying the reason I grip the gun is simply so that the gun doesn't move around once the gun goes off, okay? So I'm using a training tool here, all right? So this is a blue gun, this one actually being blue. Why would we use a blue gun? Because a blue gun lets me do things that I couldn't do with a live gun. Now we're not careless with it. We don't mindlessly point it at things, but I can use this for force on force training. John, you know, I use these on the mat all the time, and I hear people that they go, okay, so wait a minute, like for instance, in NRA classes, you are not allowed to point this. You have to treat it like a real firearm. My honest idea is then, just get rid of it. It doesn't help you at all. We use these in force on force all the time. We use this in mat-based training all the time, and it gets pointed at people because that's how you use it, but you only do that intentionally. I'm gonna use it here today because it increases our safety margins and lets you guys sneak around and see what I'm doing and see my hands and see how the trigger goes and the sights go and all that stuff without any danger from the muzzle. Make sense? Okay, are you comfortable with that? Well, I guess that's a leading question. If you are uncomfortable with that, let me know now and we'll change a few things. You comfortable with that? Feel good about that? Feel good about that? Johnny, feel good about that? You okay with that? Okay. I will say this as a teaching point, that it's a bad practice because I'm putting pressure on you in front of a group. Are you comfortable with what I just said is the right thing as the authority here? This is a very small thing, but it's something that I try not to do as an instructor because it leads people and puts pressure on them. If you're like, I'm kind of sort of uncomfortable, but everybody else is comfortable and he's the expert, so fine, do it. Hard. Anyways, okay, grip the gun. I want to do a couple things here. Basically, when most people are taught grip, they're just taught, hold gun hard. Like how hard to go? Harder, more hard. It doesn't really teach me how, all right? Really what I have to do is I have to control recoil with my grip. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. What I really wanna do is I wanna grip the gun as high as I can. Physics reason behind that is I'm setting off an explosion here, but the explosion comes into the frame of the gun right here at the locking block, okay? So what happens is that this slide is connected through a little piece at the end here to a spring, which transmits the force into the frame. So here's your gun dude nerd thing. People say a high bore axis is a problem. Bore axis has nothing to do with recoil. Actually, muzzle flip has to do with where the locking block is and how high that is from where the gun is gripped. That's physics. To say otherwise shows a lack of understanding of physics. So, gun's coming here and pushing back this way from the locking block from right here. So in order to get the least amount of torque, I want to grip as high as I can on the gun because that will push it straight back into my hand. If I could hold the gun like this, pew, 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 it would just push straight back into my hand and that would be perfect. We haven't yet designed a handgun that will do that. There are rifles, recoilless rifles, it's exactly what they do. It's supported back behind the actual axis of force, and so it doesn't recoil. The muzzle doesn't flip. But those are mounted weapons. Okay, so I want to grip it as high as I can, which means this beaver tail here, right? I want to get this tang as high up as I can. Now for me, guy with big hands, I get a smoosh. Okay, so see the smoosh that I get here, and the more smoosh is more better. And the way I get that is, see, I push up with my middle finger here, and I just get as high as I can here and smoosh as high as I can to get smoosh. If you got small hands like you do, dear, and you've got a thin hand and a small hand, you may not be able to get that. But so I do see ladies sometimes, and they've got some space here, but I want you to fight that. Everything you got. Get up underneath and try to get as high as you possibly can. You guys got bigger hands, it shouldn't be a problem for you to get smushed all the way up underneath here. I want to control this gun from being able to buck around in my hands. And the way that I do that is with my strong hand, I'm trying to push my front strap of the gun into the back strap of the gun. So I'm not trying to do this. So I'm not trying to grip around the gun. I'm trying to C-clamp the gun. I'm trying to create pressure here, right? So I know, right, in jiu-jitsu we do these grips down like this, but really if you clamp down in no-gi, right, you ever notice that if I'm clamping around like this, he can get out of that, but if I C-clamp him down, he has a harder time. It's a weird no-gi thing, okay? So the big way that I notice the difference when I'm gripping around, see how much white I get in my fingertips? But if I C-clamp, notice my fingertips don't have that. And all I'm trying to do is, again, I'm pushing this front strap into these bones of my wrist is what I'm trying to do here, because that's going to control how much the gun's able to rise, all right? Now, because again, so the force that I'm exerting on the gun is going to come right about here. I actually want the longest lever I can get because that will give me more counter torque on the gun. I get the longest lever by gripping as low on the pistol as I can. So that's dependent on hand size again, but where we focus on is not gripping the gun with my middle finger, but my pinky. About 40% of your grip strength is in your pinky anyways. 35 to 40% of your grip strength is in your pinky. Orthopedists hate taking pinkies off. They will, just like they don't like taking your big toe off, they actually don't like taking your pinky off. And the reason for that is you lose so much of your hand strength when you do that. So gripping front to back and a lot. People say, how hard? Hard. If the gun's shaking, I'm gripping too hard. If it's not, then I'm good, all right? Now, second hand. Same principle applies. What I'm really trying to do is keep the gun from moving side to side. So now I'm going to grip this hand side to side in order to control that side. And again, I'm not gripping around, I'm gripping C-clamp. Side to side here. And I want to use this pinky, why? Because it's got 40% of the grip strength in my hand. So I'm shooting a little tiny little gun that I can only get 2 fingers on. Guess what? I've lost 40% of the grip strength in my hand. No wonder it's hard to shoot. Okay? So I see some guys sometimes with big hands like mine, and they'll let this pinky kind of hang off here while they grip the gun. Well, I'm losing so much grip strength. I would rather you cheat this hand forward a little bit in order to get that pinky on there. Me personally, when I'm gripping my firearm, I'm left-handed, is I like to stick my pinky inside the crease here between my little finger and my ring finger. That's just my index that I know that when I drive the gun out, I have the grip that I want. And now I'm gripping with all 4 fingers and just gripping the tar out of this gun side to side. Because what that's doing is making this bottom here super firm so that when the gun goes off, it goes blip and goes right back where I want it to go. Does that make sense? So that's gripping the gun. So the next thing I want you to work on is coming out here, and I'm not working yet on sighting the gun and triggering the gun, okay? I just want to work on grip, feel it, and go. All 3 of you guys finished your magazine and you have an unloaded gun. So we're going to stand up here in the shade and do this dry fire a couple times. We're going to put our hearing protection on just in case somebody made a mistake. Going to make sure, take our guns out, check it to make sure that it's clear, and then practice this grip a few times, and then we'll go up and shoot it live. So go ahead and draw your firearm and verify that it's unloaded. Show your partner. I have an empty chamber, an empty mag, that's unloaded. So you don't have to put the gun away now, but what I'd like you to do here is, again, so I'm going to do the same. Would you tell me what you see in that gun?
Clear.
Great.
Clear.
Okay. So now I've got the gun out. So I want you to think about, here's this hand. Can I press front to back here? Can I get it nice and high? Front to back. Got that. Side to side. Get that. Grip tight, tight, tight. Great. Gun went off. Grip tight, tight, tight. Get what I'm saying there? Try a few reps. Good. Now, again, high as you can. Gripping with the pinky. So gripping front to back there. Seeing side to side here. Drive it up. Feel that grip. Grip it hard, hard, hard. Good. Feel that pinky pressure? Good. So go ahead and work back to the holster. Let's grab a magazine and let's go downrange. Again, we're just going to be at the 3-yard line. All I want you to watch now is I'm going to show you a grip that is soft, and watch the recoil of the gun. That's all I'm asking, okay? So you can come around right to the sides of me when I do that. I don't mind that. You can stand behind me. I just want you watching the gun though, so it doesn't matter. So again, I'm just shooting at the berm, so that's not doing anything. Range is hot. Everybody got eyes and ears on? Eyes and ears?
Eyes.
Okay. All right. So if I grip this gun and I leave space here, okay? And I grip it hard and leave space. Just watch the muzzle. That's how much the muzzle's rising, okay? I'm not gaming that. Now, if I grip it higher, tang up higher, and I do the same thing, see the difference in how the gun rose? It rises differently because of where that I get this thing. Now, next part of that, I'm going to focus now on gripping up tall, Okay, so I'm gonna focus gripping up here in my middle finger, like I told you is not the best, because I want you to see how much the gun recoils, okay? So all hands on the gun, but I'm focused on the top fingers. Not bad, right? But now I'm gonna focus on pinkies. Okay, so now I want you to experience the difference in how you see your sights as the gun moves, okay? So you're gonna get on the 3-yard line, safely draw your firearm, load it, and then you're just gonna, again, get your grip, build that grip as good as you possibly can, pinky grip pressure, and I want you paying attention to the gun goes off, bang, what does the sights do? And can I grip that gun a little harder? Can I grip it front to back, side to side, okay? Step up to the rock here. All right, shooters, go ahead and safely draw your firearms, load them, and experience grip. You're released to your task. Good. Instead of driving your elbows out to lock, give them a tiny bit of bend. And the reason you want to give them a tiny bit of bend, I would even turn them down just a tiny bit. And now, see how that pushed this hand, the bottom of your hand's a little tighter together? Okay. So, and see what that does to your recoil. Now, again, not a ton of bend. See how easy that is on your arms now? And the gun's not moving around. Safely holster, right? Safely holster when you're done. You can leave yours, it's fine. All right, let's go back and grab another magazine.